Hey guys, welcome to another session of FFBE Global News. This week we have Citra and Macmedi and Lottie. And this banner review, I think this whole news video will be a short one because there's not much happening, but I think there's going to be some big news items in the next week or two. So let's quickly get into it. Anyways, there's a step up as the same as JP. Siege units usually get a 11k step up. Now Hyo was a bit different. Hyo was a hype unit, I think, and therefore he got that extra step up with rain, with guaranteed. And if you saw that video, my poll video, I got really lucky. I've never gotten 3 rainbows, and heck, I usually don't even get rainbows on my 11k step up. But because I got 3 Hyo, I don't know. Maybe I'll try this one. Now, if you know me like on Discord and what I said in other videos, I said that I wouldn't be really, pulling for Citra, if she worth pulling for. I think I did mention that I would want 1 because her TMR is actually really good, and to start her off in case I can eventually land her from off banners and get an STMR. As a unit herself, though, she's not really incredible. But we'll talk about that. So, I mean, the step up, like I said, is 11k, and if you're not familiar with this yet, maybe you had salty pulls like me, or you've been lucky. Trust me, luck comes and goes, guys. So, don't be superstitious thinking that these banners will always give you good stuff. Sometimes you can spend 11,000 lapis, and that's not little. That's at least like two or 3 events combined if you're a free-to-play player. And 11k lapis is not cheap either. It's almost $100 USD. So yeah, it's up to you. But as you can see here, we get a 1.5 times rate up from step 1 all the way to step 4, getting Citra, and then a step 5 you get a 5 times rate. Now I forgot how that actually works, but I think it ends up being a 25% chance of getting a rainbow, and Citra becomes, I don't know, is it 15% chance, I think, something like that, maybe. I don't know, I'm not quite sure. It's a higher chance to get her, but a high chance to get other rainbows as well. But don't be tricked. 5 times rate doesn't mean you'll get a lot of rainbows. And trust me, I'm kind of tempted to do it just because of that Hyo pull. Got 3 Hyo at the very end of the 5th step. The only other thing is, like, as you're doing this, you're really paying, 1,000 lapis for a 5% Moogle. 3rd step, you get a 30% ticket. I think this is new. I don't think you get 30% tickets. I don't know. I might be wrong, guys. But for some reason, these steps look a bit better. I could be totally wrong, though. Anyways, if you spend a 1,500 lapis, you get a 30% ticket. I mean, arguably, you could look at the bonus and the perks and say that, oh, it's kind of worth it if I don't get a Citra there. But, realistically, all of us want the actual unit you're pulling for. So, yeah, good luck on this, guys. I don't know. Right now I'm debating if I'm going to do this. It's limited 1 per player. So if I do it, hopefully I really get Citra. But if I don't, I might pull some tickets to get her. And again, I'd be happy with just 1 of her. Really, it's that TMR is really good. So anyways, let's go down. Let's talk about the unit a bit. So as a unit herself, like, is she worth pulling for? I would say she's really a TMR unit at this point. We've got enhancements on JP since the 3rd anniversary. We've got enhancements, and her enhancements doesn't really make her better. It just makes her stronger. And arguably you might think, like, well, stronger means better. It's just her damage is better. She really needs the Esper gauge. She is an invoker after all, evoker damager. She needs the Esper gauge to actually do her damage, but she's a hybrid damage unit, split with magic and spirit. So you want to boost magic and spirit both really high in order to actually make her really good. She has really good mods. Some of her finisher moves, 20 times damage, hybrid, magic and spirit 20 times. All right, so it's both. I don't know how the math works for this specifically. It's not like our regular hybrid damage units, I think, where it doesn't have a split mod, but it calculates each one as a separate. It doesn't combine them all at the same time. and then it combines the damage overall at the end. So what I mean is, it calculates 20 times magic damage based on your magic strength first, and then spirit, 20 times spirit, and then it combines that into total damage. I think that the formula works out a bit different from physical and magic hybrid that we're usually used to from attack and magic, but I could be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, guys. It's something for me to learn, but regardless, as a finisher, she could be really, really good. But again, like I said, it does require the Esper bar. And she doesn't fill the Esper gauge really fast. I mean, 2 to 4 Esper gauge per turn. It takes about maybe 3-4 turns. 3 turns if you're really lucky. 4 turns and maybe even 5, right, if you're unlucky. The Trustmaster, like I said, a Hero's Vow Light. It's something that I like. I would like. As all the vows, like Reagan's Heroes Vow Dark, there's an LB gauge fill rate for most of them. Not all of them have this. For most of these CG Veritas, they have LB gauge fill rate, but it's 50%. Not the best, but also not the worst. But to reduce dark resistance by 30%, that's really negligible. Most of the time, you'd probably be able to compensate that. Either you have this on like a attacker or a healer, but you have a tank that can cover the dark anyway, so that doesn't really bother me. It's not really a loss. But with that, you get a 60% spirit, which is so far one of the best spirit TMRs in terms of like how much spirit you can get out of it. Even Aerith on in JP right now from Final Fantasy VII, she's one of the best healers, but her TMR gives you 50% spirit. Now, arguably, you might think like, well, why do I need 60% spirit? But maybe you're trying to cap spirit. Maybe you could put this on like Leela or someone who scales damage based on spirit. This might be a really good one to have. This is why I kind of want one of her, because it's unstackable on global, but it's still really good to have. Having multiple of them wouldn't be bad either. It is, you think about it this way rather. Just ignore the 30% dark resist reduction and go just look at the 50% LB gauge fill rate and a 60% spirit boost, which is incredible all around. The Super Trust Mastery is really good though too. I mean, just not even thinking of this as like the best weapon for an evoker, especially for herself. The 110 magic is not terrible, but the 150 spirit, that takes the cake. I do know that Ayaka's staff is better in terms of spirit, but this also gives you a 30% Evo mag, so I mean, it's still really good. Potentially this could be I mean, it would be the best on any sort of summon damage dealer, and what I mean is like an actual evoker, someone that actually evokes like Bahamut or an actual Esper for damage. She has the best STMR for that. Her innate kit, if I did my calculations correctly, she has 60% Evo mag, so she I think will be as strong as Garnet, or maybe Garnet is still stronger. I remember Garnet with enhancements is probably one of the strongest evokers, but maybe until now, maybe she's a bit better. So it really depends. Depends on what you want. I mean, she can fill LB gauge per turn, like every turn she can fill 2 LB gauge innately. She can dual cast some of her skills. She has damage mitigation for the entire team, but a lot of her stuff actually costs Esper crystals, so she can recover MP. Again, she could do AoE, single target recover MP. She can increase damage mitigation, and I think she has a chaining skill. I'm looking at it right now. It's called Holy Mind. It has a it feels summon gauge as you're doing it, and it's a light damage. It's 14 hits, it says, but I remember talking to Mortrix about this before, and it does chain with the Divine Ruination family. I'm not quite sure if that's the case for 14 hits, unless that compensates for both casts, like dual wielded or dual casted. Regardless, it does also heal AoE as you're hitting, so like think of it kind of like Ash's skill there. While you're hitting, you're also healing at the same time. So I mean, She's not the worst unit, but she's also not the best. She's kind of like all around. She wants to be a finisher. She wants to be somewhat of a support unit, but not really. Her damage mitigation at her base without enhancements, which we don't get until the 3rd anniversary at least, is a 20% magic damage mitigation. So and specifically magic damage mitigation, so that can stack with global damage mitigation, which could be good as well. But again, it is AoE, so that is somewhat of a highlight. She has 100% light resistance. That could be useful for a trial later on, like Alexander 3-star, the Esper trial. But then, yeah, but it depends. Again, she is sort of niche. Arguably, if you're asking, you know, if you pull for her, would she be a game changer for you? Probably not. But she could be okay. This Evocation Fierce Light of Supremacy is her cooldown skill that has a 25 times mod. Hybrid attack, again based on magic and spirit, but it has a cooldown used once every 6 turns and 5-turn cooldown, which means available on turn 6 rather, but you can keep using it apparently, so every 6 turns though. And everything else we've talked about here. I'm just gonna quickly talk about the 4-star and the 3-star, whether or not they're worth pulling on this banner. In my opinion, again, like the entire banner itself to me is not worth pulling on, except if you want Citra. That's it. Here we have Macmedi. So his job is machinist. His is trust master. We're not gonna look into their kits again as usual. I usually skip the 4-star or 3-star unless they're really notable. Attack plus by 40% increase, and then a nullify paralysis of stone. I talked about this in our FF15 video, and Ravis or Ravis. His is attack 40 with a 50% dark resist increase. And like I said, if you did have Fidel or Orochi, these might be skippable for you, but they're really like kind of good bang for buck 40 attack accessories, or materia rather. I mean, nullify paralysis and stone, 2 of the worst ones, and sometimes you might be finding a trial where it's just paralysis and stone you need to get, but you don't want to put on a ribbon, but you don't want to compromise your attacker's abilities. This could be a really good one. So I mean, if you're pulling for her Citra, most likely you'll get a Macmedi here or there. So I mean, his Trust Master, probably not a high priority to get, but if you're looking for that extra, like you know, partial ribbon with a 40% attack, you're not compromising your physical damage dealers, his TMR would be the best. I already know a couple of trials that I faced recently that needed those specific ailments covered, and it could give me that 48% attack instead of me using a discernment or something. 7's TMR. And Lottie here, a magic bombardier. Lottie's robe, 30 magic with a 20% magic. This is a really good robe for those who are starting out. I remember in JP, when Mortrix and I, we pretty much played JP around the same time. He was trying to get this TMR for his Ellie, whereas I went for a dark robe. I wanted that stronger base magic. So I mean, dark robe is Victoria's TMR 4-star unit, depending on the type of player you are. If you're a free-to-play player, you might not have enough Victorias to get that robe, but Lottie you might be able to get more of. So more of the units equals faster way of getting your TMRs. If you fuse them or if you farm them, if you do that. 30 magic is really good already for a 3-star TMR with a 20% magic. So that's pending if you're capping magic or not. So if you could cap magic with just the passives and really good abilities, obviously this is a skippable one. I myself, I'd just be fusing her. I would not be using her for anything else. Just fusing her, maybe get the robe, but I won't even really need it, I think. I think that's it. That's it for this one for now, and we'll talk about it later in our summary. And we have, of course, our story event with Citra's release. I think the story event is, I've been looking at the calendar, it's about a week earlier than I was expecting. but I think there's a reason why, and we will talk about that at the very end and in my summary there. But yeah, continue. We have our 90 energy bonus stage. So if you guys experienced that on the first story event to have it, which is the hero story event, to have that 90 energy bonus stage, you guys can see now that it's not completely easy. All right, I know that you know, some people are like, oh yeah, so easy. But it's just because you have the gear. So from newer players, or maybe even mid-level players that have you know, less time in FFBE, you might not have the right gear, might not have the right units. It will require a bit more strategy. But again, like I said, and I will repeat this probably every single time that the 90 energy bonus stage is available, is that you just want to cover all your bases. Really have one healer, have a breaker. Breakers are more important than support units like buffers, if you can break them, right? Have 2 tanks, usually a physical cover, able to provoke and cover at the same time, and magic, able to provoke and cover at the same time. That's usually what you'll need. And then status ailment protection, or someone who can cast status ailment protect, and then 2 DPS units. That's basically it. And that kind of really talks about when I said before, when Olive was released in a 7-star, and my thoughts on finishers. It's just that finishers are just not having any places in the party. Like, if you do the calculation, do what I just said, you have a healer, let's say Fina. Usually you want an AoE re-raise healer, so Fina would be the best. You're gonna run into trials later on where if you kill a boss, they'll just instant KO your entire team. And there's no way of getting out of it except re-raise. So yeah, so someone like Fina would probably be the best, and that's probably what I will bring all the time for elemental resistance, AoE re-raise. Most likely I'll bring Rain as my magic tanks forever now, and then now with Merc Ramza being a really good physical cover tank with provoke, he'll probably be my physical tank of choice right now. And then DPS, depending on their weak to physical or magic, usually it tends to side on one, but who knows, maybe you can start bringing Malphase or your hybrid damage dealers for these. They will be all really good. But as you can see, that already takes 6 unit slots. If you have a friend who is a DPS setup for you specifically, maybe you have the right killers, the right equipment, if you have that, that's already 6 units. There's no place to slot a finisher. And the other thing is, most of these trials are trying to, you know, they're trying to force you to get all missions, because the mission rewards are usually pretty decent. I mean, other than the super sites, which, you know, if it's too difficult for you, just skip it. But usually you're getting Moogles, 10% Moogles in there, like king level pots with tickets at the very end. So definitely not one you wanna, you know, blast through. Finishers would be like, you know, trying to one-turn KO. But most of them, it requires you to actually like summon 2 Aspers, like do 3 limit bursts or something like that, and it will take some time to grind. And so yes, my recommendation for those parties, if you can't match those units specifically, don't worry, there's always going to be some people that can replace it. Most importantly is if that you can break them, bring a really strong breaker, 50% or higher. If not, you might need to go with someone that can also buff or have a damage mitigation. But there's tons, it's almost like an infinite amount of possibilities with the units we have right now. And especially now with 7-star units, it's going to be a bit easier. But I would definitely recommend having a full team of 7-star units, or at least most of them. So again, Piercing Light is the usual stuff, Citra's story, so I'm not going to get into it. Everyone knows how to really play story events right now. Farmer for the crystals. Let's take a look at the limited equipment here. Evoker's Horn, Evo Mag 10. Ooh, I like that. That looks like Citra's horn thing that she has on her head. But Evo Mag 10 on a hat. I like it. With a 15% spirit and magic. That's very unique. It's very unique. I can't think of anyone that has it right now. TMR or STMR? No, maybe later. But that's really good for a hat right now. See, energy gun. This is okay, I guess. Inflict paralysis, but a 58 attack. Not that good, but carrying status ailments might be useful for arena if you want to set up your arena team, so that might be okay. But that's it for this one. Unit intro quest. You get to watch the CG animation. Probably the most likely, the only reason why most people would pull for her is that CG animation. Either way, you get some tickets. Let's see. You get 2 tickets. Nice. So you get a ticket on completing it. You get 100 lapis for clearing the quest, and then you get another ticket for using a limit burst. Sorcery Damper, Holy Mind. I might do a review. Might do a review on her while we're doing this mission. I'll see if it's worth it. I don't know. I might want to do some tests on like the chaining and stuff like that. I've heard the chain breaks. If it is a Divine Ruination chaining, it breaks by at 7. And I think the reason is because it heals in between. So A2 used to have this problem near Automata banner. A2 used to have a problem with her offensive heal combo, which is her skill that is the strongest one. It chains and it heals herself at the same time, and it used to break. There's something buggy about a move that chains and heals at the same time. A lot of units get them breaking, but I have to test it to see if that break was meant to be, or if it's a glitch, or if maybe Global's fixed it. I don't know. So I might do a review on it. We'll see. So to round off our event this week, FF15 Fodena Castino Exploration with Marlboro here. It's an exploration, so there's gonna be some loot. Do we talk about the loot? Yes, we do. Let's talk about the loot first and then to get to the boss. Oh wait, this is the... Oh, okay, this is not the loot, but there will be loot. There should be loot, but this is the completion rewards. So let's talk about the boss first then. So it looks like the same boss that we faced at the end of the Legend run. Decrease its defense and spirit. Defeat with 1 blow. Should we? Does it get really hard? I don't know. It's interesting, but I mean, if the Moogle says this, maybe we should do it. It's weak against fire and plant killers, of course. It's like the same. 2 difficulties, easy and hard. So you could collect the loot on easy and then just really aim for the hard. Let's see here. What do we need? Complete the quest. You get Dragoon Lance. Enable boost fire, ice, lightning resistance by 20%. Enables. Does that mean this is a skill? Maybe it's a skill. If it's a skill, it's not that great. But if it's a passive, that's good. Use 3 or more limit bursts. You could do that in the exploration. Okay, yeah. And then defeat Marlboro with magic. Okay, so yeah, you can definitely one-shot it. I mean, you could complete all missions. Go do your limit bursts first if you need, or you just save it for Marlboro. Who knows? Maybe you have 2 heal with their LBs. I don't know. No items. It's pretty easy. And then defeat Marlboro with magic. So just cap it with Alterna or something. Might be pretty straightforward. Should be okay. And we have our equipment enhancement event, which is great. It's fantastic. It's a week long, so end of maintenance Thursday. Okay, so starting on Thursday, right after the end of maintenance. Okay, so and then all the way to Wednesday before the start of the maintenance. Okay. Daggers are back, which is great. Nyx's dagger is gonna go into the item world this time. My Nyx's dagger, of course. Staves are available, axes and hammers. So maybe you want to upgrade Sledgehammer for that 20% HP that you got from Uber Killing Machine if you did pull for him on the Dragon Quest event. Axes, there's an HP axe as well. I'm just thinking in terms of HP right now. Of course, you can go for attack and stuff. Axe, is there one called Giant Axe? I think it's a 15% HP. Probably worth leveling that. And then staves, of course, Holy Wand and Nirvana. If you got Ayaka's STMR, you gotta run that right now. Run that in this for sure. Oh wow, they're showing all these STMRs. They're showing Ayaka's STMR, Nyx's STMR. Feels bad for those who don't have it though. I don't have Ayaka's STMR, otherwise I'd definitely run it. Or if you pull for Citra, you got her STMR as well, which is a stave. You could run that in there as well. It's really good. It's weird that the daggers are coming back again though. We've already had a dagger one at the very first event. I think they're skipping harps or instruments. We don't have instruments yet, but I think people on Discord are saying that, well, who cares? No one really uses an instrument. So I'm okay with that too. I'm okay with the dagger. Only thing I'm thinking of is that I only have one Nyx's dagger, and I don't know whether or not I should go for HP for my tanks or go for attack. Because it is a really strong attacking dagger. 158 attack, Fire Elemental, and that really changes it. It's really good for like someone like Reagan, but I think HP might be priority, I guess. Probably. I probably have this on my tank all the time. So yeah, I'll probably go for HP. Maybe HP and defense, depending. I'll probably, you know, do a Theorycraft build in the calculator and the builder, and then see what benefits me more. Like if I can hit a cap of something, I'll upgrade the other passive. But anyways, have fun. Item world. And that is the end of the news video. This is a much shorter one in comparison to my other news videos in the past couple of months actually. What do you guys think? Are you going to be pulling on this banner? Again, I don't know myself. I'm going to say right off the bat, I don't know whether I'm not going to be pulling the 11k step up, which I'm tempted just because of that hero, man. That triple rainbow makes me feel good. But I don't know. I usually really get nothing out of it. And I had a 11k pull like right after the hero one pretty much on JP, and I got nothing from it. So I mean, I haven't been proven completely wrong. It's just that it does feel good to get multiple rainbows, and you're looking at, oh, it's a 5 times rate. Sounds really good, but I don't know. I'll have to see either tickets or the step up. I'll think of something by the time we can pull on this. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Are you guys gonna be pulling on it? And the reason why I would say, if you don't have much resources, try to resist the urge to pull, guys. Resist it, because I really do think that next week, if this goes all the way, the event goes all the way to the 19th, all right, to the 18th rather. No, wait, 1 week to, no, it goes all the way to the 25th. So I really think that next week the Halloween event will be announced, guys. So next week, next Friday would be the 19th of October, and I mean, they're gonna be, if they do it on the 26th, it wouldn't even be a full week of Halloween. We stretch all the way to November already. I don't know. I don't know. A speculation, it might be Halloween. I can't think of them being beneficial by slipping another canon event into the timeline in the next week after this one. So I think it might be Halloween, guys. It might be Halloween. So resist the urge. I don't know. Maybe I'll even pull on this at the very end of the week after next week's news is released. I don't know. I'm so confused. Anyways, but yes, don't let the temptation get the better of you. Remember that she's not a limited unit, but Halloween units are limited to the time of Halloween. So definitely save up for that. And we will finally see 7-star Halloween units. So that is big hype stuff, guys. Most of the Halloween units, except Dracu Laswell, are actually really good. And if Pirate Jake is coming back, I mean, you gotta really pull for that TMR, man. I don't know. I might go for like at least 10. No, not 10. I already have 1. Maybe 9. Right? That's probably too much. Maybe 6. I don't know, I'm just fooling around now. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Hopefully that this news video has been helpful, help you make your decisions in the long run. Again, hopefully you watch this end portion. Maybe I should have did a disclaimer. Watch the end if you want to know about the Halloween event. I really do think it is coming, guys. And if it isn't, of course, they only have 1 more week after that. So if it isn't coming next week, it's the week after for sure. So if you can hold on to your resources, I don't think you'll regret it, guys. I don't think you'll regret it. Anyways, that's it for this one. I'm going to end it here. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.